Alright guys, so we actually finally got the 5.1 part of the Road to Lostbelt 7 campaign dropping, and there's some pretty nice goodies here. There's 3 buffs that I have unfortunately already looked at. Someone brought it to my attention that it actually already dropped on stream because regardless, I was having trouble getting into JPFGO after the latest data download. If you're using APK Pure, swap over to something called like Tap, and that should be an easier way for you to actually get back into JP if you're having a similar issue. But yeah, I've already seen the buffs. I've seen a lot of the stuff that they're bringing, and it's pretty good. It's generally a very, very nice little celebration that we got going on. And then, like a week or so, we're going to have the 5.2 campaign, and I'm hoping to get some equally good buffs and goodies for that as well. But before we begin, if you have not already, make sure you leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel for daily and sometimes double uploaded daily FGO content. Also, I stream every weekday over on my Twitch. I am going to actually bump it forward to 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every single day. I think 5 p.m. was a little bit too early for people to get in there, and then by the time a lot of people were getting in there, my throat would be like really sore from talking for like 3 hours or something. So I'm going to push it back to 6 p.m. EST. Hope to see you guys down in some of the streams. I know at least Monday we're going to summon for Jalter. That's when she has her next solo raid up. That's also a weekday, so I'm looking forward to that. And if you want to see me do stuff like that, make sure you come out to those streams. But with all that being said, first and foremost, let's talk about Saint Quartz. There are 14 Saint Quartz up for grabs for all masters. Now, keep in mind, if you've already done, like, say, Corday's quest, you don't get to do it again. If you've already done Robert's, you don't get to do it again. But in total, 14 Saint Quartz, not bad. If you haven't leveled up your Bartholomew or your Corday, maybe you just haven't leveled up Mandricardo, you can actually go ahead and just get their interludes done, and that's going to be really nice and just a nice little chunk of Saint Quartz for you. But then also the gold servants, right? Being able to do someone like Super Orions or Drakes and get the Saint Quartz from that is also going to be very, very nice, and is going to be able to be put forward towards this nice little summoning campaign that we have going on over here. It's not exactly the most broken thing of all time. I think if you're going to summon on this banner, it's for the absolute meathead that is Super Orion. I mean, the guy is still very, very good. It's still extremely fun to use as a solo servant or as someone that you're going to actually invest 2 buffers into, because one of the weaknesses, I guess, that you could say that he does have if you're going to go after him after hearing how broken he is, he does maybe have a little bit of an issue kind of getting started and looping his NPs, but as soon as you get 2 of those NPs fired, this guy is off to the races, and he could pretty much just body anything by himself. Any supports around him is just extra. So maybe you could run some supports or something to help him get to that NP and make him a little more consistent. But regardless, the guy is still really good. There's really like no way to dice him. He's not a bad servant. He's just really good. Odysseus is like standard.jpg, really good AoE arts writer. He's pretty much got everything you would want him to have, from a cards buff, from survivability, decent damage. He's got a battery, just all that really good stuff. He's just a generically really good servant. Unfortunately, Chiron, Estrella, they didn't really receive any buffs. Hector didn't get anything right, but Achilles and Chiome, did I call him Achilles? Achilles and Chiome, excuse me, they both actually received buffs, and I actually want to talk about Chiome's first, because Chiome's buff is actually really, really good, right? If we want to go ahead and peep this, they basically took it from this complete L magnet of a skill, and they gave her double damage mod on this. And for one, you guys should know, over like the last 2 weeks, like it seems that everybody had a demonic special damage mod. This is really good, right? Like, even if it's only 30%, it's really insane, because you're going to be able to combo it with this right here. And for those that don't know, Chiome loves smacking people with Curse. She's able to do it with her normal attacks, her NP, pretty much everything smacks Curse onto people. And so she's always going to have that special damage mod that's going to multiply into like the arts buff that she has, for instance, right? So it's already going to offer her a lot more damage. But if they're also demonic, which again is a very nice swath of characters, and just to show some people, like, there's not a whole lot of servants in here, but if you go to like the actual enemy traits, you bump over here, there's a nice amount of enemies that you could actually pit her up against that are pretty common. A lot of these guys you'll see in like pretty much every single event. So the fact that you could just bring her and have her just crush a lot of these dudes is absolutely insane. I think Chiome walked away here with like probably the best buff of the 3 of them. Achilles probably got the most minor change, but that's also because Achilles was already really good, right? The confusion is nice. It gives him a little bit of tech, if you want to say that, to his kit, right? He can do some interesting stuff now with his NP. The most interesting thing is that on overcharge, after he fires his NP, he's going to get this massive crit buff that can be anywhere from 50 to 100%. So Achilles' Brave Chains following his NP are going to be ridiculous. But keep in mind, they only last for 1 turn. They don't stack or anything. So you got to use them in Brave Chains to really get the maximum effect out of this. But even if you're not doing consistent like crits after, you know, his Brave or his NP or whatever, it's still got a buff, right? So the damage is still going to be a little bit better as well. So Achilles pretty much just got what I would probably expect. Like if they told me, hey, we need you to buff this guy, it would probably be something along these lines, because Achilles is already pretty good as is. But my boy Jason, oh my goodness, not only do they buff his NP, so now he can actually do a bit more respectable damage, but now he refunds 20 stars every turn for 3 turns. This guy is like a 20-30 on crack cocaine. Like, he is absolutely just nutty at this point. So not only can he farm, and not only is he going to be refunding stars just in case that, let's say he misses the kill on the 3rd node, now there should be stars to guarantee that like his face card that follows it could actually crit and kill somebody if he didn't kill them with the NP, but also for like challenge quests and stuff, or if you want to use them in like boss fights, even as like a pseudo buff, or maybe for like, I don't know, like a Hercules or something, you want to do some like meme team or whatever, right, for the Argonauts. I kind of forgot what they were called for just a brief second, but if you want to do like an Argonaut meme team, this is actually going to be really good because he's going to front stars for the entire team on top of like his 3rd skill being really good for them. But just in general, this is a really good thing. Even outside of that, if you just want to use Jason, it's going to be a very, very nice buff for him going forward. And I mean, like, dude, anytime you have like an art servant that can like front their own stars, that's already like the basis for like a really broken arts crit servant. Like, I would like to see him just get like 1 or 2 more buffs so he can maybe take advantage of these stars, but already this is really insane. You have the Recollection quest as well to kind of like close out the stuff that we got for this little celebration. Yeah, these are literally just, we take the Canis, the dog, and the Corday fight, and we made them really, really beefy. So you can just redo these fights. If you already beat them once, you can beat them again. It shouldn't be that hard. These are literally just like, what if they had a million bajillion HP? And I mean, Canis is rocking like 2 million on our last bar. The dog is also pretty beefy as well, but not as beefy as someone like Canis is, obviously. These really shouldn't be that bad. It's not like the Arjuna Altar one like last time, because that Arjuna Altar fight was ridiculous, right? Because he's already really strong as is, and they were like, go ahead. He's got like 4 million like cumulative NP or HP. Go ahead. Beat him up. And I was like, oh my goodness. I was like, Lasengo, why? Like, that was a swift kick in the nuts and a very humbling experience, for lack of a better term. But these shouldn't be that bad. I don't find these fights to be particularly like super hard. You just need a good sustain team, and thankfully, if you're going to be doing this with, say, an art setup, right, Lady Avalon is now in the game, and Lady Avalon offers a lot of sustainability to arts teams, because one of the weaknesses of arts teams before this is that while Castoria was really good at keeping you alive, it was like a war of attrition, right? Because she didn't have a way to give you HP back. But now, Lady Avalon basically does that by just like beefing up your max HP and stuff. Or you could always use Tamamo, okay? It's not like Tamamo's any worse, you know, like Tamamo's still good, but I understand not everybody wants to use Tamamo because she doesn't give NP immediately on any of her skills, but she's still good, right? But it just bring like a team that has like decent sustainability, right? If you can like kind of get your HP back and you can make sure you're not getting clapped back too hard, you should be absolutely fine. I think maybe the one that people are going to struggle with the most is maybe the Canis one, right? The dog one could also be really annoying because it has the invincibility for 1 hit and it's also charging its NP every single turn. But Corday really shouldn't be that difficult, but I think saying like which one is like the most difficult is kind of like splitting hairs. They should all be very doable if you have a decent box. But let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Are you going to be summoning on this banner over here, right? Are you going to go for Super Orion? Are you going to like wait and see who else comes, right? Because we obviously know that 5.2 is going to be coming out, and Lostbelt 6 is sometime in November, I believe, and so that means Morgan's going to be coming back. So, you know, your boy's also kind of eyeing up that banner, being like, I got Morgan NP1, might want to go for an NP2, something like that, you know? Kind of got those thoughts. Also, Melusine should come back as well if you missed out on her, or like Bargus and Sith. So just some things to kind of keep in mind between now and then. But Super Orion's obviously worth summoning for. He's really, really good, and he's really fun to use. Let me know what you guys' thoughts are on the buffs. I think, in my opinion, that she walked away with the best one. Jason probably got the second best one, and then Achilles, if you have to call one the worst one, it would be his, but his is not bad either. They're all very solid buffs, which I'm glad to see. I'm also glad to see that Jason actually got a really good buff, specifically because Lysengel's been very greedy and aggressive, you could say, with a lot of their banners and like kind of how they're just pushing content in kind of a very aggressive way. So I'm glad to see that we're not losing out on the free-to-play units. I was very worried that as time went on, the pay-to-play units would get like better and better buffs. I'd be like, oh, you gotta use the summonable units, and the free-to-plays aren't good anymore. But thankfully, that's not a concern because Jason got a stupid broken buff, right? They pretty much gave him just two things that he really wants: more damage and stars for crits, so he could actually do damage with his face cards. But with all that being said, I will catch you guys in the next video. Peace. Late, guys.